Hey, hi, hello, book lovers. Welcome again to another episode of Belle's Library. This is technically the first episode. First one was an intro, but either way, welcome, and I'm going to be doing a book review on Cinder. I just finished it. It was really good. I liked it. Start with this awesome cover. This whole shoe thing going on, which everybody knows relates to the glass slipper, so there's your first Cinderella clue. But then, if you look closely, you see some metal skeleton in here. So then it makes you wonder, who is this girl? But she is a cyborg mechanic living in New Beijing, also referred to as the Eastern Commonwealth, which is post-World War IV. Which is really interesting. So this is considered a dystopian novel. It's also a rendition on a fairy tale. And it wasn't just like a Cinderella story type thing where it's just this girl falls in love with a guy and that she just met and they live happily ever after and blah, 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 blah. It's different because it's a completely new world. It's just the same idea, but totally revamped into this whole new world, which makes me so excited for this. You have no idea. A dystopian novel, and it's really cool. I knew I was gonna like it just because it was something different, but I didn't know to what extent. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like, oh, I kind of like it, or if it was gonna be like, oh my gosh, I love it kind of thing. So like I said, this is set in New Beijing, Eastern Commonwealth. Essentially, it's Asia. The author was actually really taken with the Japanese culture at a time. She's like super obsessed with it, I guess. But you meet Cinder, you find out, okay, here's her story. She's a cyborg. She's a mechanic. She has a stepmom and two stepsisters. I had mixed feelings about the stepmom and the stepsisters throughout the book. Stepmom wasn't too bad at the beginning. I mean, she was still kind of like a little but she wasn't that bad. Here's where some spoilers come in. So if you don't want any spoilers, you might want to exit this video like right now. So you have Peony and Pearl, who are the two sisters. And Peony is actually like the really nice one. She's a little bit naive and just but she's like super bubbly, and she's not like the evil stepsister kind of type. She's the nicer one. Pearl, on the other hand, is much more of the bitchy stepsister that's kind of like, I want nothing to do with you. I don't like Pearl. But either way, the whole conflict with this book is that there's a plague. So in regards to the sister, Peony actually catches the plague and eventually she dies. And Cinder is totally distraught over this, and she's trying to find an antidote for the plague. She's, talking to this doctor, and then she's talking to Prince Kai, who you will meet. He also then turns into the Emperor Kai because his father, the Emperor, also dies from the plague at the very beginning of the book, which is very sad. And it puts Kai in a very interesting position. But he meets Cinder because he actually heard about her as being a very renowned mechanic in the Eastern Commonwealth. And he had an android, and he wanted her fixed for unknown reasons that we didn't find out about until later. And so that's how he met her. So you've got your Cinderella and you've got your prince. You've got your stepmother, who actually just went batshit crazy after Peony died. She became evil after Peony died, which is kind of understandable because her daughter just died, So, like, that's really understandable. It was a bit over the top, but, Audrey had her reasons. They were just misplaced. It was a misplaced hatred. One of my favorite characters is Aiko. Aiko is a little android, super sassy, super cute, super opinionated, and she's just full of life, and she's got so much to her, and you can't imagine a world without Aiko. But after Peony dies, Audrey goes, like I said, like batshit crazy, and she basically destroys or like disassembles Aiko, and all that Cinder has left of Aiko is her ID chip. So she swipes it. You know, she's like, I can't save you. I'm just going to take your personality chip is what it was for Aiko, because she was an android. But she was super cute. To me, Aiko was kind of like the fairy godmother of this book, of the story. Like the main key ingredients is you have Cinderella and your prince, you have the glass slipper, you have the pumpkin carriage, you have the ball, and then you have the fairy godmother, right? 6 main things. So with Aiko, I totally believe she was the fairy godmother. Kind of in a different way. It was just more towards like guidance, and guidance in a weird way as well. She wasn't very straightforward with what she said as far as getting Cinder to do things, but she got it done. She was super cute, and I really like Aiko, and I can't wait to read the rest of this series, so I can hopefully see what happens as far as Aiko's personality change. Another conflict that we meet is Queen Lavanna, and she is the Lunar Queen. And she, once again, batshit crazy. Like, she killed her sister, and then, like, there's this chick, Princess Celine, who was her niece, and she was going to kill her too, but then, like, something happened, and she came down to Earth, and then all of a sudden no one could find her. You know, no one knew what happened to Princess Celine. So throughout this entire book, everyone's trying to find Princess Celine, and I mean, it's crazy. Being lunar is like the evolvement of humankind. Like, if humans were to evolve, they would be lunar. A human colony on Luna, which is, you know, the moon, but now I guess it's a planet or a place of living. So now lunars, they have this thing called glamour, so they could change their appearance, they can make you do whatever they want, like all they have to do is just think about it. It is so crazy, and it's really intense, so it's kind of like magic, but it's more of illusion. So Queen Lavanna is like, she came down to Earth, and she wants to try to persuade Prince Kai to marry her, because she wants to become Empress, and in this whole thing, like, she's just like, oh, take down all the mirrors. She doesn't like mirrors for some reason, like, nothing with a reflective surface at all. She doesn't like it. And, I mean, there's just all these conflicts with her. She's just a royal bitch. Literally, royal and a bitch. She is conflict number 2. Usually there's, like, one main conflict. There's 2 in this series, or in this book, and it's the plague, which is called, letumosis, I think, or like, I don't know how they pronounce it. It's spelled kind of weird, but it's like letumosis, and it's also referred to as the blue plague. And there's like I think there's 4 or 5 stages of this plague, and then once you hit it, you're like dead, and no one's found an antidote. Such an insane read. You get hooked on these characters. The only complaint I would really have is that I think Prince Kai should have gotten more page time. He was a really interesting character that I wish I could have seen more of, not just with Cinder, but like on his own. I wanted to see his character and see how he developed after his father died, and just what he was going through. Like, you kind of saw that. There were like some snippets in there, but I mean, the majority of his page time was with Cinder, and I just kind of wish that you got to see more behind the scenes with him. There's a ton of stuff that I could talk about with this book. It was insane. I highly recommend it. Out of 5 stars on Goodreads, I actually gave this 4 stars. It wasn't something that I was like obsessed with, but I really, 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 really love it. It's such a great story, and I mean, it's such a different take on the whole Cinderella thing. But the thing that I'm actually the most interested in about the series itself, about the entire series, because I haven't read them, but I did some research, and I mean, you could guess just by like looking at these other covers right here, it really looks like they're integrating different fairy tales, but combining it into one story, and I think that is super awesome. And, you know, as a dystopian novel, this was incredible. Would read this again, absolutely. I give it a 4 out of 5. And you need to read this. This was a good read. I don't know why I put off reading this for so long. I had it for a while. But I'm really glad that I read it. What I'm currently reading is going to be Uglies. So this is just my book list, and I use it as a bookmark. But I am currently reading Uglies for the first time. Also a dystopian novel. Pretty interesting. I will review it at another time, but I wanted to give you guys a nice little sneak peek on what's coming next. I hope you enjoyed this, and keep on reading, because reading makes us smart, and smart people do smart things, and who knows, maybe you'll be an author. Thanks for watching. My name is Heather. This is Belle's Library, and this was Cinder. Pick up a copy if you don't already own it. If you own it, frickin' read it if you haven't read it. And if you have read it, leave a comment down below on your thoughts, because I want to talk to you about it. Oh, and if you haven't read it, I don't know why that you watched this, because I had spoilers. Unless you like spoilers, and then I can understand. But other than that, like, I don't mind spoilers, but read it. It's so good. I can't even stop talking about it. Anyways, this has been Heather, signing off with Belle's Library, and I wish I could say some cool thingy, shabow! Is there somewhere I could sign up that, like, I get paid for reading? I know there's a job out there somewhere. I'm getting caught in my hair. I know there's a job out there somewhere where you could get paid for reading, and I want it. Because then I could just read all day and get all of my TBRs out of the way, and it'll be amazing. I have so many books to read on my Goodreads TBR list. I have over 600 books. So I need to get cracking on it.